Namaskar and welcome to Changemakers. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Around the world, numerous entrepreneurs are providing path-breaking innovations, but a solution and innovation can truly be sustainable when they're mindful of the environment, when the welfare of the masses and the planet can coexist. Today, let's talk about eco-friendly social enterprises. Did you know every minute the equivalent of one garbage truck of plastic is dumped into our oceans? Plastic pollution is a global problem. It can alter habitats and natural processes, reducing ecosystems' ability to adapt to climate change, directly affecting millions of people. Did you know many sanitary pads that women use are manufactured of materials such as non-biodegradable plastic, which can take hundreds of years to decompose and can cause long-term deterioration of water and soil quality and also pose public health risk? Our changemakers are addressing the concerns of people and the planet in a holistic manner. They are replacing plastic with locally sourced natural raw material in our daily use products. They're using banana fiber to make affordable and reusable sanitary pads. Here's how. Our changemakers are social enterprises doing inspiring work at the grassroots. Their interventions are innovative, that empower people, and also eco-friendly to ensure that the environment and planet remains cleaner and greener. Our first changemaker is Kadam Heart from Kolkata, founded in 2008 by Payal Nath, Pooja Ratnakar and Rajesh Nath. Kadam Heart aims to facilitate generation of opportunities, enabling local artisans from various rural sectors of India to develop their craft into usable products. The products as well as the raw materials are locally sourced, ethically produced and deeply inspired by nature. At a time when plastic pollution has penetrated every sphere of our lives, Kadam Heart is on a mission to prove that small changes by millions of people all add up and can make a large impact. Eliminating plastic waste is one logical solution, but equally important is exploring alternative materials to be used in day-to-day life instead of plastic. Some of the alternate materials used by Kadam Heart are sabai grass that is native to West Midnapur and Orissa, bamboo from East Midnapur and Malda, among other options. Through premium quality, handcrafted, sustainable products, the enterprise strives to replace plastic in every home and achieve a more responsible, mindful and planet-positive way of living. Kadam Heart designs training programs with rural communities with an assurance that products thus developed will exhibit salability. Artisans are empowered through long-term training with all the necessary skills required to thrive in today's competitive markets. Our next changemaker is Sokyam Reusable Pads from Kollam. Founded in 2017, Anju Bisht and a team at Sokyam Pads are the first in the world to make reusable menstrual pads from banana fiber, which comes from agro-waste. Till date, they have sold and distributed over 500,000 pads, helping prevent the emission of over 2,000 tons of carbon dioxide equivalent annually. This has also helped eliminate over 43,000 tons of non-biodegradable menstrual waste. Reusable pads are better for our seas, trees, bodies and wallets. Sokyam pads are manufactured by rural women self-help groups in several states of India. The project is an initiative of Amrita Serve by Mata Amritanandamayi Mutt in rural India. Knowledge of menstrual health and access to such pads is limited. Anju Bisht's team is working towards ensuring high-quality pads be made available at very affordable prices in rural areas. Reusable pads are handmade, The large-scale manufacturing of reusable pads also has the potential to provide employment to large number of rural women. Team Sokhyam believes that nothing that is disposable can ever be sustainable. Our planet simply does not have enough resources for us to take, make, use and throw, and do that endlessly. In India, there are over 35 crore women and girls who are in need of sanitary pads every month, and a majority of them are in rural areas. If right awareness is provided, then women and girls become empowered to choose what makes more sense to them. Those were some truly remarkable initiatives. Let's now meet our changemakers, learn more about their work and vision. Let me welcome Payal Nath, founder Kadam Heart from Kolkata, Anju Bisht, Managing Director, Sokhyam Reusable Pads from Kollam. We saw your inspiring enterprises. Warm welcome to Changemakers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am, first let's talk about the nature of your enterprises. Your work is very conscious of the environment at a time when climate change concerns dominate global and local deliberations. How significant is it for every enterprise to do their bit for the environment?
Yeah, thank you, Shubhendu. So, as far as our country is concerned, India, we have a long history of sustainability without knowing the term sustainability. The way we lead our lives in the rural areas, or we have over the centuries, everything was sustainable. It's only after the industry came up, and the requirements of the civilization as it evolved, the situation. But I always remember one thing from our traditional values that we have carried forward. My father, when we were children, would always say that, there is one planet where we live. And whenever we're staying on this planet, you have to pay a rent to the planet. Don't think just of the house that you have to pay a rent of. So the air that we breathe, the food that we eat, everything is important. And it's just now that the realization of how with COP27 and the industrial countries and developed and developing countries with the need of power, there is a huge discussion. But all that we are doing, I feel right now discussing it is that bringing the topic which is close to what India is and has always been all about, to be responsible for your environment and around you.
Right. Anju Bisht, ma'am, if I could bring the same question to you, the significance of being conscious of the needs of the planet, irrespective of what kind of enterprise we're engaged in.
Right, Shubhendu. So thank you. I completely agree with everything that Payal ma'am said. Amrita Serve is an initiative of the Mata Amritanandamayi Mutt. It's not my personal initiative. Amma, she's a spiritual leader. She's a humanitarian leader, revered worldwide. Amma often reminds us that, and our whole organization kind of resonates with this ideology, that Amma tells us, that if human beings were to not exist, the earth would come back to its original state maybe in a very short amount of time. And may that never happen, that it comes to that state that, we wipe out humanity ourselves with our actions. However, we are heading on a path that maybe it seems like a distant possibility, but maybe never get there, maybe correct our ways. And India has committed to becoming carbon neutral by 2070. All of us, all organizations, all entrepreneurs, all citizens of India will have to play their role in making that happen. So definitely, climate consciousness is the need of the hour. We work in the area of sanitary napkins. And most of us don't even know that trees are cut to make sanitary napkins, to make 99% of the sanitary napkins that are out there. So these things need to become more widely known. And
right. And ma'am, working at the grassroots for so many years, how would you say the manner in which opportunities challenges have sort of evolved for women entrepreneurs? And I know I'm here making a gender distinction. We don't say men-led enterprises, but I'm saying women-led enterprises. But how have you mapped the manner in which things have changed for entrepreneurs like you?
Right, right. We've had the good fortune of seeing, women's self-help groups. They're led by strong women. Their members are strong women. Come center stage and take charge. And they are the ones that are leading our movement on the ground, being empowered in so many ways, and in turn empowering, not just their children, future generations, their families, but also, I would say, keeping the big picture in mind and taking the right decisions that may be, again, to take the example of sanitary napkins, it's a little bit of a learning curve to change from disposable sanitary napkins to reusables. The period experience is far, far better. But one has to go through that learning curve of 2 to 3 months. There's a habit that you have formed. Now, even in rural areas, young girls, they're fast becoming, disposable sanitary napkins are available there, and they start using those. Sometimes they're provided them free by the different schemes of the state government. But we've seen so many instances where women groups, with their collective belief in what's good for the planet, what's good for the individual, what's good for the whole collective, they have said no to disposables and have come forward to, and that's how this PAD movement is gaining from strength to strength. So challenges for women entrepreneurs, definitely. But the collective impact of empowered women entrepreneurs, it's a delight to behold.
Right.
And I'm so fortunate to being able to see that unfold.
Right. Payal ma'am, your experiences, observations as far as women-led enterprises are concerned over these years?
Again, going to our culture, we talk about women as Shakti. Yeah. And so that's the kind of Shakti or the strength that we talk about that we have, and it's just a question of when you work with the rural women, help them, they know that there is somebody with them to unleash the strength which is dormant maybe for a while. It's now getting more on the surface, where it is you see them, the rural women getting more powerful, also because the ecosystem is developing in the rural areas. I mean, we work in rural areas for the last 2 decades or more right now. And from the time when I started, I was a young girl myself. I think these women, rural women, have helped me to strengthen as an individual as well. When they say we have helped them to strengthen. So basically, a collective of women and the Shakti energy is growing. I mean, it's evident. I feel it's you can feel it, the pulse when you go. 85% of the people we work with in the rural areas as rural entrepreneurs are women.
Right, that's amazing. Let's talk about your individual enterprises. If you can first talk about Kadam Heart. Payal ma'am, Kadam Heart is giving a lease of life opportunity to thousands of artisans, particularly those engaged in handmade crafts and products. How did the journey begin, and what has been the experience like for you and your team?
You're asking me to tell in 5 minutes, 25 years old journey.
Perhaps, yes.
Okay, so yes, initially was not easy at all. We've seen, people, rural communities, when we were training the rural communities, especially women, sitting under a tree with less money to make a certain product which they could sell later on to have a sustainable income. We've seen the men, ignorant men, I would say, abuse them, get angry with them. Tumhara gosht khayenge, ab wapis aao. All kinds of things which were not very nice or encouraging. To now working with them in 25 years, shoulder to shoulder and running the enterprise and wanting to run the enterprise together. So we've seen the journey, of course, grow. But what we do in Kadam Heart is primarily an area which is so-called below poverty line or living under multi-dimensional poverty. So that area, we work with them, identifying what their skill sets are. Every person has a certain strength and a skill in hand and in person. So we identify that, we create a product which will be sold with these strengths. We combine, marry the two, and bring them to the market to ensure that the livelihood opportunities, making local grass, green technology, and local resources, livelihood opportunities come to them in their villages itself. So that has encouraged a lot of women and men both, I would say. One cannot work on its own. It cannot be just women. So both together have been working, although 85% we ensure that it's women because we feel that they need that little push,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's incredible how women sort of comprise most of your teams, ma'am. Despite the talent with our artisans, it may be very difficult for individual artisans to make a living with their art or products. How have their lives changed by coming together with Kadam Heart, and especially for women, not just breaking the social barrier, but also creating an economic identity for themselves?
Yeah. So when we work at Kadam Heart, which is the brand or the face of all these thousands of women, we do a market research of what product should sell, and how much of quantity would be required. So we marry that with the skill of the community. So when we are talking about making that one product in this village with the artisans, it's a very strategic move to pick up the team or make the team, using mixed gender. If there are 4 ladies and there are maybe one person man who's in the team, and the ladies also are of different communities because in the villages still there is a caste and disparity. So there will be from all kinds, and they all sit together under one roof, make that product together as a team, and then they get paid equally. So we have a way of removing the disparity in a very gentle way through economics. And whatever the team together decides the number of pieces that they can sell, we start with the social mapping, we start with an aspiration mapping, and the second front end is the market research. Combining all of it is what a Kadam Heart product would look like to you when it reaches you. Besides being green, and 100% sustainable and all of that, it has a lot of power and energy and thought which has gone into making that product.
Right. And ma'am, given that you're engaging with hundreds and thousands of artisans from all across the country, there's something interesting that we learned about Kadam Heart is the self-sustaining craft clusters that you're making so that each of the cluster can sort of work and to its best potential. Why is this model important and how does it work?
So the only way to get economic sustainability is not to treat this art or the artisan's work as a hobby, which means that sometimes you have work and sometimes you don't have work, depending on the profit or the market-led company. So our company, which we have created, or the brand Kadam Heart, is not led by profits, but it's led by the aspirations of the people who want a sustainable income, regular income. So the entire business plan, the entire market plan is designed based on the social mapping and the aspiration of the community. And without that, there is absolutely not possible, at least from my little experience, to get economic, reform, at the grassroots. And with economics comes social as a byproduct.
Right. And talking about the manner in which you're doing important work for the environment as well, it's interesting how you're replacing plastic with locally sourced raw material for your products. If you could give us some insight into the manner in which this supply chain and business model works.
Surely, yes, I'll be happy to. So just for example, a roti box. Now, we have grown up with a casserole made of plastic, which will keep the roti, warm. So now to replace this with a locally grown grass, teaching the ladies how to make the base and the men make the top lid, which is made out of the bamboo, and the base is made of grass. Now the ladies of one community or a weaker skill set will make the choti, the plate, and the higher skill ladies will convert it into a product, and the men will make that. So this, as far as at the back end, I think it sort of explains, but for the front end, thousands and thousands and thousands. And I think Amazon, we got an award from Amazon when Mr. Jeff Bezos was here just before COVID as the social entrepreneur of the year. because we were competing with this product which everybody needs in their homes, and they are happy to buy this product at the same price, slightly more price, slightly higher price, but it's a solution. They know it's easily available, a product which is easily available conveniently. What I see with the new generation who want to buy, the millennials, is that they believe in sustainability, they have an attitude for sustainability, but they don't find the ecosystem to be able to lead a sustainable life in terms of availability of these products. So through our brand, we're just trying to fulfill as much, giving you an example of one roti box, a plastic tray shifting to a bamboo tray or a grass tray or any other sustainable material if it's at the same price. Yeah, so that's our model.
It's great to learn about the work by Kadam Heart. If we talk about Amrita Serve, Anju Bish ma'am, if I can come to you, we know that access to sanitary pads, access to affordable sanitary pads may still be such a challenge for many women, perhaps in rural India even more. How did you think of creating pads that are reusable? And tell us about the journey of Sokhim pads.
Right. So we were working in rural areas, and one thing that we found, we had adopted villages in about 20 states of India. One thing that was common in rural areas, no matter, you're looking at Jammu and Kashmir, or you're looking at Assam, or you're looking at Madhya Pradesh, lack of access to suitable products for menstrual hygiene is the root cause for many problems related to health and education. Solve this one problem and you can solve so many others. The absenteeism in school, the dropping out of girls after they attain puberty, even serious health issues such as cervical cancer and so on. So we set about trying to, this was way back in 2014, 2015, trying to devise a low-cost, sustainable pad for rural India that could be afforded by the girls and the women living there. And then as we researched and we understood that you want pads to be made available for more and more girls and women. But if this means that you're cutting down more and more trees for the raw material, because the absorbent material in all sanitary napkins and most sanitary napkins, and 99% of the sanitary napkins, is cellulose fiber. And that's a substance that is made in much the same way that paper is made. Now, all of us know that, paper, we don't want to waste paper. Paper comes from trees. Even a small child knows that. Cutting trees further worsens climate change. But none of us knows the link between climate change and disposable sanitary napkins. So we started looking for alternatives, and there are a few groups in the world that are using banana fiber today for sanitary napkins. So the banana tree, unlike an apple tree or a guava tree or an orange tree, all these other fruit trees give fruits year after year. The banana tree will only fruit once. That's its unique characteristic, and then it dies. And so it's from these cut trees that the banana fiber is extracted. It's not very different from the other cellulose fiber that is the absorbent in, like I said, 99% of the pads used globally. But it's a sustainable substance. So our innovation, though, was not to make disposable pads with banana fiber, but to make reusable ones. And there again, it was Amma who guided, who said that even though banana fiber comes from waste, it's still far too precious to be used once and thrown away. And I had used reusable pads for, a decade at that point. I had bought my first set when we were still living in the US. We had gone there for our higher studies, and my husband and I, before we moved back to India. It's a secret I wish more people would know, that the period experience with reusables is so much better. So when Amma's guidance came, we set about doing the research and development for making reusable pads with banana fiber. And
Right.
the pads are, extremely popular. We cannot keep up. We're building 2 large factories this year. And we have smaller production centers in 8 states of India. Next year, we will be doing 5 more states. So that's been our journey in a nutshell.
Right. And Anju ma'am, with the work that you're doing, how is your experience of engaging with women, their families in rural households? How are conversations around menstrual health, acceptance of pads? How are these things evolving around us, especially in rural India?
I would say we've seen a lot of change. We've seen a lot of change, not just with the women, but with the men also. Nowadays, when we, want to do awareness workshops on a big scale, the men are at the forefront, helping set up the shamiana, helping set up the loudspeaker system. There's no like a feeling of shame associated to it that, oh, this is something that we can't talk about. Whatever we speak about on the loudspeaker, the whole village is hearing, even though it's only the girls and the women who might have congregated in that particular shamiana. So definitely have seen a lot of change. And this is, what is menstruation really? It's a normal physiological function that actually is at the very basis of life. If our mothers did not menstruate, you and I would not be born, isn't it? So,
Right.
So to give it its rightful place, just like, we breathe, we sleep, we eat, we menstruate. I think this feeling of taboo and so on, it may still take a few more years, hopefully not a few more decades, for those feelings to be completely relegated to they have no place.
There's absolutely
So we've seen that change, definitely.
inspiring work being done by Amrita sir. And as we come towards the close of this conversation, final thoughts from both of you. Payal ma'am, I'll come to you first. The road ahead for enterprises like yours, working towards social development, empowerment, and yet keeping the needs of the planet in mind. What are your hopes and aspirations for your enterprise and the others like you?
This hopefully will not be a conversation. This hopefully will become mainstream and everyday home way of living. This is what we dream of, a vision of not just India, but globally, to have this movement where everything that you buy for your needs is sustainable and your Mother Earth is actually your true mother.
Right. Anju ma'am, your final thoughts.
Yeah, completely echo with that. For reusable to be mainstream and for disposable to be known as the bad idea that it really is. Our planet does not have enough resources for us to keep taking, making, using, and throwing, and doing that endlessly. So no place for disposables going ahead. We hope, in every walk of life, reusable is what is the norm.
Right. On that note, thank you very much, Anju Bish ma'am, Payal Nath ma'am, for joining us on Changemakers. Our best wishes to your amazing teams.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
So those were our changemakers doing transformative work for our society. There is much to learn from their ideas. Sometimes great change is brought by small steps, simple actions. If we could just be a little mindful in our daily choices for the people and environment. Think about it. Till we meet again. Namaskar.